The Rap Roundtable.
The Rap Roundtable returns with their first reaction of 2023. The space has been so slow that it took the second weekend or the first official weekend of May before we actually got to do one of these reactions that people are known for, to the point that someone on Twitter even had to ask, "Are y'all gonna react to this one? Because we ain't been reacting."
Facts, man. It took
a little slow, man. It's been a little slow.
It's your boy Jarvis alongside Sincere the Rap Song.
What up, what up?
Alongside Deanie the Balance.
May the force be with you.
Alongside the homie Mace.
It's good.
And with this one, of course, if you clicked on it, you know what we're talking about. Won't he do it? Conway the Machine. I would say, it's a big release. And it was like, I could say for myself that I kind of slept on it, but then after listening to it, I'm like, wait a minute, we might have to talk about this shit.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So sit the rap star. Let's get right into it, bro.
Let's get into it, man. Won't he do it? Conway the Machine's latest project. It's a strong project, man. I like it. I like it a lot. I'll just go over the highlights. I don't want to be too haterish and start talking about the shit that I don't like. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's talk about the shit that I like, right? One thing that I noticed about this project is that he, like I've been asking. No, I don't want to say I've been asking him to do, but I've been wishing for him to do. He's stepping out of the comfort zone a little bit, and he's shining on some production that traditionally he hasn't really rapped on. You know what I mean? From the moment that I heard The Chosen, which was the first song that he put out from this project, I had that shit on repeat, right? Justice League, him and Jay Skis going back and forth. They have great chemistry together. That song really gave me like some Brooklyn's Finest type of vibes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't, y'all gonna be like, oh, that's high praise. I'm just saying like the vibe, the energy that I got from it. I'm not saying it's as good as Brooklyn's Finest.
Please, thank you for clearing that up, because you know how that go already.
You know how niggas get.
Say that. You know what I mean?
Good job, son.
So, yeah, I gotta, they gotta have that vision. I gotta catch motherfuckers before they say shit. You know what I mean? And some other songs I like. Kanye, I really like that song. The thing that I didn't like about it was that he only spit one verse on the song, man. That shit was crazy to me. It felt like a big production. You know what I mean? It had like, the pianos and the organs and the quiet. It felt like a big record, and I wanted him to show me a little more on that type of song. You know what I mean? Flesh of My Flesh, I dug a lot. At first, when I first heard the beat, I was like, beat is alright, but then the way he came in and double time on the beat, he skated crazy on that shit, right? Monogram, another song that, sonically, it's not really the type of bag that Conway is usually in, but he shined crazy on that shit too. And what I like about that song is that he was talking his shit, but it was different than his normal shit talk. It wasn't like poking his chest out so much. It was more like an elevated shit talk. Like I'm here, but of course I'm here because I'm that dude. Like it was it's something that really felt elevated about it. And last but not least, the crowning jewel of this whole project, Brooklyn Chop House, bro. Brooklyn Chop House is special, man. That shit. You know that gif of Homelander from that show, the superhero show, where he's like, perfect. This record was fucking perfect, bro. Conway, Fab, Benny, the beats, the flows, the energy. Even Conway coming into the song, even before Fab and Benny came on the song, he was like, yo, I'm not gonna have these motherfuckers cook me. Like he came in with a whole different type of energy on that song off rip, right? Those were my shining moments of the album. I got some more thoughts, but I just wanted to set the tone right. These are the joints that I really like. The joints with higher BPMs, higher energy beats. This is where Conway needs to be.
Fact, Deanie, talk to me, bro.
I gave it a spin, and I will have to say this is definitely the best project of 2023 so far. We know Conway gonna bring. We know Conway gonna bring the bars, but the bars were different. I haven't felt this way about the bars since maybe like La Machina. What was that? 2021. Sharp, not one wasted word, bro. Like hard hitting bars, straight to the point, direct, just lyrically assassination. Also, Sin, no Derringer love, bro, who just happened to produce the Chop House joint and like another 5 joints on the album.
You know what?
Can we give him some love?
No, hold on. Let me.
I mean, we're gonna get there. We're gonna break the whole project down. Getting his takes off before we get all up on the beat.
I slacked because I told myself, I was like, yo, I gotta find the production list because I went and looked, I think a couple days ago, and I didn't find anything. So I don't know who produced what. I slacked. That's on me.
I went and checked. He did like 5 joints off the joint.
Word?
Yeah.
Brooklyn Chop House?
Brooklyn Chop House, Brick Fair. Shout out to Macito. I ain't got no notes. All my equipment died. I should have wrote this shit down. But yeah, he did a bunch of joints, bro. Fire. Shout out to
My Flesh. I know that because
Flesh in My Flesh. Yeah. Shout out to the features, man. Like all the features showed up. Shout out to East. Shout out to Skis. Shout out to Juicy and them niggas. Like everybody showed up. Shout out to Benny, Fab. Brooklyn Chop House is the walkaway joint of the album. I mean, fire, bro. Like I'm not giving it a rate or anything like that, but this is definitely the Conway I've been talking about. I always talk about Conway's my favorite nigga out the group as far as with the bars.
Yeah.
Showed up. The beats knock. There's actually, even if they're not like vibey joints, there's still enough for you to get a good, you know what I'm saying? The street music. I think shout out to the joint he did for the ladies. There's a joint, like a ladies track on there that had a nice smooth vibe, good front seat music. He did like it was what I wanted from him. I haven't got this from him in a little while. So shout out to Conway. I think it's fire, bro. Fire.
Mace.
I'm gonna have to echo the table here. I feel like this is much more of a step up, more dynamic production than God Don't Make Mistakes. And that was kind of my biggest problem. It was like a real slow, sad type of album, you know what I'm saying? So I enjoyed, you know what I mean, just like Beanie mentioned, more of a throwback to La Macarena as far as the production. Just like, you know what I mean, just like you say, it's not you're not getting, future vibes or anything, but it's a vibe that you got to it, you know what I mean?
Go ahead now.
Ride to it. I gotta disagree with Sin. Even though I did enjoy the album, Flesh in My Flesh, I literally said, what the fuck when that came on, and I listened to it, and I tried, like, I did not like that track, you know what I mean? To be honest
at all?
with
You didn't think he skated on that?
He skates on everything. It just wasn't a good song, you know what I'm saying? So,
I think it was the beat, but like this is one of those situations where like people have been asking like what's a beat that when the artist gets on it, like it transforms the beat. That's what that song did to me. As soon as he got on it, I forgot how kind of mid the beat was, and I was like, yo, he crazy on this.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I didn't like, and just like you, I searched for the production list. I couldn't find it, but I kind of enjoyed that, you know what I mean? So I didn't, come in saying, here goes, Derringer Beats, it's going to be, you know what I mean? Because I'm shocked that he produced Brooklyn Chop House, because just like y'all say, Brooklyn Chop House, The Chosen, Stab Out, that's like East Coast rap at its finest, you know what I mean? New York rap at its finest, like high-level lyricism, you know what I mean? Production that's not soft, but that you can rock to, you know what I mean? Bars being traded back and forth. All I will say on Stab Out, there's a clear gulf between Ransom and Conway. I'm not gonna lie to you. Ransom, I think, is the best rapper alive right now. Like Ransom,
there's a clear what?
Gulf in between them.
Gulf.
Yeah, in between them as lyricists. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you.
Gulf is a strong word, bro.
Intentional, but yeah, I ultimately I enjoyed this a lot more than Conway's last project.
Yeah.
I feel like there's, I made sure I listened a couple of times before I went and saw the internet, fodder about it. I didn't want to be swayed. It seems like people are so about it and kind of down on the production, but I like Conway trying new shit. We didn't even mention the Sauce Walker joint. You know what I mean? Like, I like Conway saying, I want to try some different shit. So I enjoyed the album.
Mm-hmm. If I would like, on one thing and one thing alone, I give this album a 5. And that's on the fact that he sonically kind of did what we've been griping about as far as getting outside of his box. Like listening to the project, of course, you in the car, you know what I mean, coming home from work, I said, let me tap in, let me see what this is about. Like I immediately gave him a 5 for the Sonics. Just merely, you know what? It's something to be said for artists that listens to real critique. Like you can listen to your fans who keep telling you, give me the same shit over and over again. But obviously he heard the critiques of, you know, his last project, God Don't Make Mistakes, and generally his entire catalog as far as what that sounds like, what the vibe is when you get to a Conway project. So for that alone, for him to listen, for him to have the reach and the wherewithal to listen and realize like, I can feed my fans, but I can be a bigger deal. 5 out of 5 off the rip. I recommend. When we get into the music of it all, Monogram, like that shit right there, is like you could rap on a loop or a drumless loop, or you could do some superhero type shit. That's like the first time I felt like Conway really was on his hero shit. Like this nigga got on the beat with the right kind of instrumental. He was very comfortable in his skin, singing on the fucking hook. You know what I'm saying? and rapping. And when I say like when May say Gulf, but when I hear a song like Monogram, it's like I got a hard time agreeing with Gulf. Yeah. Maybe lyrically you want to say that there's a gulf between the two, but if we talking about creator rapper and you have a certain limitation as far as how much you could turn each knob up, I think Conway's the perfect rapper. You know what I'm saying? I think like as far as flow, voice, breathing, bars, and now the ability to step outside of himself and do some shit that you might not expect from him.
Right.
I think Conway is him. I think, remember, I've been going back and forth between Benny and Conway. I walked away from this project, putting Conway back above Benny. Yeah. Because it's like, song for song, The Chosen, Water to Wine. Let's stop right there, Water to Wine. Again, stepping outside of yourself. Water to Wine is tough. The bop felt like some 90s shit. Like, it made me want to go listen to Stilo right after that song, because it had that kind of a bop to it. I mean, the only gripe I can say is the song is kind of long, because I was like, this is a single, but then it's like, who wants a 5-minute single in 2023? But if you still want to go with it, because there's so many elements to the song that you could probably get away with it. That song deserves a visual. You got Dave East on there, fresh off another great season of the Wu-Tang series. That is a record that you got the girls singing on there. The only gripe I have with that song is I would have had Shorty do the hook by herself. I wouldn't even have had Homie on the hook. But overall, that song is fire, and that's what we need. Kill Judas. Come on, bro. Like it was like a perfect break. It was like a little intermission. You know?
Derringer did that too, Joe.
Yeah, that definitely sounded like Derringer.
Then we get into Brick Fair, and it's like, all right, it's almost like it was intentional. Like we gonna give you a break. We've been hitting you over the head with shit you probably didn't expect. And Brooklyn Chop House is right behind that. So let me give you a break. You know what I mean? Dini got on his Derringer cape. We're gonna give credit where credit is due. Brooklyn Chop House is a fire beat. Much like 3/4 of the panel, I didn't know who produced these songs. I just pressed play. You know, I don't even really care. I just want to hear what the artist has to say. I want to see what the beats is doing. Unless it's one of those super crossover projects where they give you the whole track list and the producer list weeks ahead of time, I just press play.
Right.
Credit to Derringer for not just giving us a boring ass loop. Let's call it what it is. We've been criticizing Derringer because it's been the same shit.
Yeah,
it has.
Brooklyn Chop House don't sound like any other Derringer beat I've ever heard.
Real quick, Dini, did he do Stab Out?
I don't think I think J.R. Swift. It sounds like a Derringer beat though.
It sounds like, because it sounded a lot like a Derringer beat. Okay.
So I did the track listen while listening to each song to see, so I don't really jump ahead too crazy.
When you can't send that, but go ahead. Sorry.
Will do.
And then not only is it bars, for once they're listening. They gave us a chorus on their shit. You know what I'm saying? And then the nigga on Twitter was like, Benny got embarrassed. He got Johnny P'd on there. I'm like, them three brought their hammers out. They cleared the fucking scene. If anything, I was concerned would Fabulous belong next to these two guys. And I waited for Fabulous flag on this podcast. Fab looked around and said, is Paul Kane and Joe Budden next to me? I gotta bring the bar.
Turned it up.
House standout record. If we could get a street visual for that, I need
Street
it.
visual, a
Granted,
remix.
Ooh, that Brooklyn Trap House isn't the greatest, but
the moment,
the song,
hold on.
Tough.
The moment I heard that beat,
this album, that's it.
The moment I heard that beat, I was like, Stove God needs to be on this. And if you get if they could somehow get an extended remix, get Rome and Stove on that shit, shoot a video, have that Flex. If you listening, if you watching, because I know industry motherfuckers be watching. Throw this on, bro.
Facts.
Let this rock, rotation, bro.
Facts.
That is the energy, bro. That's the energy we need in this city right now.
That's what New York sounds like, huh?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna start the critiques off before I pass it to Sing, because I know he has critiques, right? The one takeaway negatively that I want to say, and it's perfectly placed at the end of the album, Super Bowl. It's garbage. I'm sorry. It doesn't belong there.
It doesn't belong. I'm not going to call it garbage.
And it's like, if you really listen to albums, you know when certain songs don't belong or they try to hide it in certain places. It's track 14 for a reason. It don't fit sonically nowhere else on this project but at the end. I don't like it. It's not good. Conway and Sauce Walker sounded like they were in two different mind states. Granted, it's two different artists, but the vibes of it was like, the song was disjointed to me. 3 acts, 3 completely different vibes. It was 3 completely different approaches to this song, and it didn't work for me.
Right.
I mean, but go ahead, bro. I know you had some critiques.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just I agree with what you just said. I'll piggyback off that. I don't think it was whack. It like you said, it didn't belong. I would have liked for Won't He Do It to have been the album closer, because it had that last track closing outro kind of vibe. Shorty, I never know how to pronounce her name. 7XB the Genius.
7 the Genius.
Yeah. She, the Conway let her, air it out, went for like mad bars. She did her thing on it. She went off. But that really had like that closing album kind of vibe. And then it felt like Super Bowl was thrown in like a bonus joint. Like if they would have like at least labeled it like a bonus, like I could have understood it. But
turn up
they could have left it out. And I had heard it a while ago when he had put it out a while ago. It didn't need to be on this album. What else? As always, I got my engineer ear to the project. There was some mixing issues, you know what I mean? And the thing is like, at least what I look for at least is consistent mixing throughout a project. Like if you're gonna have like a certain, aesthetic to the sound, like have that be consistent throughout. But the mixing was really, the mixing decisions were really inconsistent, I feel, throughout some of the songs. So that kind of took me out a little bit. There was some joint like Brucifix. I was like, all right, this is the standard Griselda fare, but I feel like I've heard them do this song a bunch, 100 other times, and I think it's been done better before. The intro was cool. I think he came in too fast on the intro. Like I wish he would let the beat breathe a little bit. But it's very few. Very few cons that I have about this album, honestly. Like it's a great project. Like I said, I think this is the right direction for Conway. This is my takeaway from this project is more of this. Like the strong points, the high points were so high on this album, and I feel like Conway is going in the right direction, and we need more of this.
Dini, you got any critiques, any takeaways, or you good?
I'm pretty cool. I think y'all covered it, and I wish the West Side Gun verse was a little better. I love West, and I like when he shows up. Wasn't the best West Side Gun verse, but the song was still good. You're right. I called it with the Super Bowl shit. I think that was him. Had a little flair. Something that the chicks could try to press play on. Got to get them. You're not trying to scare the hoes. You know what I'm saying? What else? Juicy J produced that beat, by the way, too.
I can tell.
It was, other than that, it's covered.
Mace?
I kind of already spoke about it. Wasn't really feeling flesh in my flesh. Sin was right on point. Kanye needed another verse bad. You know what I mean? That could have went farther. But other than that, nah. Just like y'all say, Conway apparently has more in the way this year. So the fact that this sounds like an album that took a couple years to make. So the fact that he's just in this mode within recording, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a good sign. Hopefully, on the next project we can get a Rome verse, just like, you know what I mean? I think we need to hear Rome and Con together again. But this is clearly the best album of the year, which isn't, necessarily a great compliment, but I'll say that this is like a high bar. Like if this is where we need to be moving forward for the rest of the year, I'm feeling it.
All right, so I guess I'll address the elephant in the room. While I did give him a 5 at the top for taking the chances sonically, I gotta be fair. There's two kind of people I feel like that listen to Griselda projects. You got the niggas who just tune in, they want the bars. They'll give everything, they'll call everything classic because the rhymes are there, and if that's your preference, salute to you. Then there's people who want like bodies of work like ourselves. We come in, we tune in for the entire listening experience, not just the bars. It's a clear divide between the two parties. Because I came in for the listening experience, as much as I'm thankful that he did take some risks, I feel like at certain points of the project, it does sound a little disjointed. It's like the songs that follow, like song by song by song. Like to me, like the first time they really stood out to me was Monogram followed by Stab Out. Monogram had such a beautiful feeling, and then Stab Out sounded like generic Griselda, and the piano at the top of the beat and everything.
They've done that 1,000 times too.
Huh?
They've done that 1,000 times too.
All through that.
I feel like I've heard that beat.
You know what I mean?
They black, but I feel like I've heard that beat like 1,000 times on Griselda.
So it's like hearing that, and it's like, and it's like, come on, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. You know what? I'm gonna get tomatoes thrown at me for this. I didn't like Stab Out. I didn't care about it, and I think part of the reason why I didn't like it is because of its placement. Like coming off such a high of Monogram, I didn't need Stab Out there. I needed something else there. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy again, superhero Conway, followed by all right. Let's just bar this up. and to me, like they didn't sound like they were enthused by the beat themselves. Like they were just rapping. Like the bars are there, but it was like, all right, cool. And throughout the project, it just sounds like I got a few tracks where Conway's trying some shit, but then it's like, let me not go too far. Let me give them some more the classic Griselda shit, so that they don't get too thrown off by it. And I gotta say right now, next project, Conway, you gotta pick a side. You don't have to be beholden to one fan base. Like we always say on this pod, if they're your fans, they're gonna follow you wherever you take them. Reasonable Doubt Hove is not Blueprint Hove, it's not Black Album Hove, it's not fucking Magna Carta Hove, but his fans stayed with them. Same thing for Nas. Illmatica, it was written back to back of two completely different albums, and they walked the path all the way through to the KD series. Your fans will follow you. So you don't have to be beholden to one way of doing things. Take the chance sonically and lean into a newer bag all the way, or get a better A&R who can sequence this shit better for you. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, no, what I was gonna say, because I kind of disagree with your point where he has to choose a side, because the greats didn't have to choose a side. You know what I mean? And if he really is him, if he's one of the greats, he should be able to pull this off. Maybe the sequencing needs to be better. And back to my point about the mixing and mastering, maybe that needs to be better too. Because if you, like when I think of certain albums, like you mentioned, It Was Written, it was both radio friendly and gutter in the same album. You know what I mean? But this is where mixing and mastering comes in, because when you have a skilled engineer that knows how to take those gutter songs but still elevate it to the sonic, where the sonics are for the more radio friendly or the more club friendly songs, you get a more consistent experience, and it doesn't feel like it takes you out as much. So I think part of it is, like we said, sequencing, but also part of it is we need to elevate the sonics of some of the songs like Stab Out or Flesh of My Flesh or Kill Judas to where they don't sound out of place with Brooklyn Chop House and The Chosen and Kanye, right? That they feel like it's still part of the same cohesive project, right? One more thing I want to say before I pass it on. I've heard some chatter on, in these Twitter streets that, some disappointment with this project. Y'all gotta let, and we've said it over and over again. Y'all got to let go of this one sound that you have fallen in love with, and then have your favorite artist just stick to that one sound forever and ever and ever, right? These the same guys that wish Nas had made 20 Illmatics, right? Y'all look, if y'all listen to Brooklyn Chop House and The Chosen and Kanye and say, no, I don't want that, or Flesh or Monogram, and say, no, I don't want this, man. Go back to, more Stab Out, right? More Kill Juice. Bro, come on, man. Y'all just want the same shit over and over again, man. Like the high points of this album are where he stepped out of that box. And Conway, if you're listening, more of that. More Brooklyn Chop House, more The Chosen, more Kanye, more Monogram. Please give us more of that going forward. Thank you.
And you know what? You made that point about mixing. To me, I'm gonna pass it to you in a second, Mace. I just want to make sure before I forget it. Is that like it sounded like the album was not recorded in the same places. Like there was like different studios, different sound engineers, and then they put it together at the very end. Like you could just tell by the vocals and even how some of these beats hit you. Like they were recorded at different spaces. And I'd say this to your point, Sen, about mixing and mastering. To me, Coup de Grace is sonically the best sounding album of that entire genre. We're not talking about the rapping. We're talking about how it sounds, how it hits. We heard it in studio on the big speakers. We heard it on our headphones on the small speakers. As far as mixing and mastering goes, that was a master class as far as how to make that space sound grandiose. And we got to give
shout out to Parks.
You got to give that credit to Parks.
Hand all of these albums over to Parks, bro.
Hand them over to Parks. Make this sound how it's supposed to sound. Go ahead, Mason.
That was the Parks. Nah, I wanted to echo two things. Sin, I also was shocked at the reception of the album. I wasn't really on Twitter. I was more on my web forum type of shit. But I was shocked to see how divided and really, I kind of saw more negative than positive. So I was kind of shocked about that. And Job, I see a vision about Khan really making the leap. You know what I mean? But I think that would ultimately he would have to, like, I don't want to say completely remove himself, but he have to get out of Griselda mode and develop some sort of symbiotic relationship with another producer on some Pusha T goes from Pharrell to Kanye type shit, or even Hit Boy. I'm not telling everybody to go to Hit Boy, right?
It works.
The formula works, but I think he would have to lock in with a whole nother producer, a whole other, if he got to go to Wyoming with them niggas or whatever. But I think Khan can do it though. You know what I mean? This album really making me feel like that. I always thought Benny was the one that could, take the Griselda sound and make it completely different. You know what I mean? But I think Khan just will have to get completely out of Griselda mode. I don't mean to do anything to you, Derringer. You know what I mean? Just like Sin said, you switched up your production on here a little bit. But I think Khan got to get away from the camp completely to be able to perform that way.
Damn, you think so?
Or get his own Steve Stout. You know what
I mean? Okay.
That it's time. If you're gonna do drum work and BSF and separate yourself business-wise from Griselda, it's still Griselda. They made it clear on every song, it's still Griselda. But as you establish yourself as your own entity, you need to establish a specific sound. Like to me now, and again, we get some tomatoes thrown about, I say it, to me, the Griselda aesthetic now needs to be treated as nostalgia. We can go back to it from time to time to give you that feeling, but kind of like how Benny ventured off a few years ago with Harry Fraud and with Hit Boy, it's time to start really going over there a little bit and trying some shit. But overall, love this album. It's gonna be getting a lot of spins on my phone, in the car, in the crib. This is the first. I would say now I'm gonna give credit to Rome and I'm gonna give credit to homie UFO Feed. They both dropped some fire, but I think that Conway elevates past them as far as body of work so far in 2023. Everybody else need to hurry the hell up. Let's go. Like, where the music?
We're almost halfway through. What the fuck going on?
You know what I mean? We got anything to add before we shut this one down, fellas?
Nah, I'm good.
You good?
Got all my
pieces. Give us your opinions. You know what to do. Hit us in the comment section. Of course, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Fuck with us. Tomorrow, allegedly, Mike D says he's pulling up for this debate. He gave me confirmation yesterday, so we gonna see.
That's
Five
We gonna see.
Mike D. If you don't pull up again, it's gonna be more Summer Jam screens. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, man.
Damn
Be
it.
there, bro.
Yo,
Pull
D,
up.
Back on there.
take us home, bro.
Yo, you know y'all fucking with, man. That's the rap roundtable, man. Shout out to the point guard job. Shout out to the fucking rap snob Sincere. Shout out to the voice of the industry, Macito. I'm Didi, the balance of the force. Without powers combined, we the rap roundtable. We fucking out here. Didi.